Let's also go ahead and rig up the rest of the actions. So our knight character can also do a little jump, and he can do a slash. So we're going to add some more actions that he can perform. Starting with the sprite manager here, we're going to do jump, and we're going to call it attack. The jump animation is going to be very basic. It really only needs one animation. I mean, it really only needs one frame. When we find the frames, it basically only needs to be him with like, kind of like in an action pose with his legs apart a little bit. So that can either be our, right frame or our left frame. Let's see which one actually looks a little bit better. Probably the right one. From the east direction, the right one looks to be the nicest. So we're going to go ahead and use the right frame for everything, the right leg forward. Okay, so northeast, northeast right, north right, southeast, right, south right, southwest right, west right. Northwest right. Okay, so now we've rigged up the frames for the jump animation. Let's go ahead and add that to our animator as well. So here, window animation. In our animation window, we're going to create a new clip. This one is going to be jump. So for this one, there is something here called jump started. But actually, I don't think we're going to be using that one. Let's see if we are. Is grounded. Here we go. The parameter, the field that we actually care about on our controller is grounded field. And there's a little bit of special logic inside the controller that determines, based on the character's distance from the ground, whether he's actually grounded or not. So we actually want him to be in kind of jumping pose, not when you hit the jump command, spacebar for jump, but when he's in midair. Anytime he's in midair, he should always look like he's jumping. When he's in midair, anytime that he's in midair, we want him to look like he's jumping. So, okay, and then our animation again can be very simple, just exactly like the idle command, exactly like the idle animation. Only going to have one frame. We're going to add the current frame property and the current state index. We're going to delete the second, the ending piece of the animation. We only need the one keyframe. And so the current frame, it's always going to end up just being 0 because it's the beginning of the animation, but the current state for jumping needs to be set to 2. That's the state right there. State index 2. Now that we've done that, okay, what we can do is we can preview the animation. So he always looks like he's jumping. And that's all there really is to this animation. But he is not going to be hooked up yet in the game, right? He can move around. When he jumps, he doesn't look like he's jumping. Remember, we always have to go back to the animator itself and hook up our states correctly. So we want to make more transitions to the jump state and from the jump state between both the idle and the walk. Make transition to jump, make transition from jump. Okay, so let's focus on idle to jump. From idle to jump, we're going to say, oh, and now we also have to add the isGrounded parameter in here. Add bool. We called it isGrounded in our controller. So from idle to jump, we're going to say when he is not grounded, he always has to look like he's in jump position. But also, you know, for idle, we also have to say is moving. Oh, never mind. I don't think we need that one. Can delete that one. So from going from idle to jump, anytime he's an idle and he's not grounded, he should transition to jump. And for jump, to go back to idle from jump, he needs two things. He needs to not be moving, and he needs to be grounded. So when he's grounded and he's not moving, then he can go back to the idle state. And again, we want to set these things to not have an exit time, and there's no duration. Again, with the other one, no exit time, no transition duration. All right, now the walk is going to be similar. So anytime he is not grounded while we're moving, so while our character is moving, but he's not grounded, we want this to look like he's jumping. No exit time, no transition duration. And then to go from our jump state back to our walking state, we want him to be moving and not grounded, like so. And then again, these animations don't need exit times or any durations. They can be instantaneous. All right. Okay, so now that we've hooked up those new transitions in our animator, let's see if that actually works correctly in our game. So there he is walking, and there he is jumping. Okay. So we see that there's some wonkiness here when we're moving and he's jumping. So there's some things that we have to fix in our animator for that. All right, so here when we go back to our animator, we figure out very quickly that the problem is that I forgot to set this to true. Is grounded has to be true for him to go back to the walk state. Right now he's kind of, so with that set to false, he was basically like kind of looping into here, into these states continuously. Let's see if that fixed it. Moving, jumping. Yep. All right, now character is now able to jump as well.